Trent Alexander-Arnold now knows that Arne Slot does not play the blame game. The Liverpool boss admitted that he had to speak candidly to his playmaking right-back after a nightmare performance in the draw with Manchester United saw him blamed for both of the visitors' goals and substituted amidst suggestions that his contract stand off with the club and a £20 million bid from Real Madrid had taken their toll. Slot refused to go public with what his message to Alexander-Arnold entailed. But the Dutchman understands from his own experience the devastating effect of being made to feel like the fall guy. Slot has revealed in a new book how he has been driven to prove his doubters wrong as both a player and manager. I had to fight for all 14 years of my career against the doubts that managers and fans had about me, claims the 46-year-old. That was why I always wanted to take on the fight. I was convinced I was good enough. Managers like to blame players and defend themselves by claiming that the players were not up for it or not showing how much they wanted it whenever their team is losing. In my career, I often had one big frustration. When a manager was coming up with that kind of criticism towards his team, all the players in the dressing room knew that the real problem was that we had started in the wrong formation or that instructions on the game plan had been wrong. Slot Ball, a book written by Milos Guka, details Slot's career. After battling injuries and the frustration of limited game time at PEC Zwolle early in his career, the midfielder appeared to be heading in the right direction when he moved first to NAC Breda and then Sparta. But he struggled to settle at Sparta and was told by new coach Frans Adelaar in 2009 that he was not good enough to play at the top level. Slot moved back to PEC Zwolle in a loan deal that would become permanent, while Adelaar was sacked and the team relegated. "I am not having it," Slot said at the time. "I do not want to be written off, and certainly not after 2 weeks of pre-season training. I don't agree at all with the manager." Gerard van den Belt, a teammate at PEC Zwolle who is still a close friend of the Dutchman, explained coaches used to substitute Slot when the team was losing. Their idea was that he was not the kind of guy to rely on when the team needed to battle hard. That has frustrated him incredibly right through his career. It triggered him never ever to become such a manager. He will never take a good player off for that reason. Slot reckons that playing good football is more important than having a bunch of warriors. It did not get any easier for Slot when he started to set his sights on a coaching career. The manager, who now sits at the top of the Premier League with a 6-point lead and a game in hand, studied for his coaching badges before hanging his boots up in 2013 after being promised a job on the backroom staff at Zwolle. But instead of asking him to work with the senior team, technical director Gerard Niekamp made a take-it-or-leave-it offer to work with the club's under-13B squad. Slot responded by giving it his best shot, arranging video analysis sessions and teaching the youngsters the basics of tactics and formations. Even when Slot progressed to become coach of Cambuur Leeuwarden, a club in the lower leagues, before moving on to AZ Alkmaar and then Rotterdam Giants Feyenoord, he still felt the need to prove himself. Slot said, "When I started at Feyenoord, people said, 'This is not going to work. The team is nothing special, and your time here will be nothing special.' There was no money, but I had studied the squad, and in my opinion there were a few hidden gems, players who I could improve. In those situations, it is a matter of finding the right playing style and putting the right players in the right formation. I was convinced I could get a lot more out of the squad, and that is how I look at every squad." Within 3 years, Slot had won the Eredivisie title, Dutch Cup, and reached the final of the Europa Conference, all achieved despite making £100 million in the transfer market. That self-confidence meant the Dutchman had no doubts about being asked by Liverpool last summer to succeed the legend that is Jurgen Klopp. Alexander-Arnold will have benefited this week from the lessons that Slot has learned during his journey to Anfield. And if Liverpool end the season as champions, then the Kop boss will never again walk alone. Elon Musk would break a golden rule if he decided to buy Liverpool instead of Manchester United. The tech billionaire's father, Errol, has sensationally claimed his son would like to buy the Anfield club, which has been owned by the Fenway Sports Group FSG since 2010. While FSG has looked for external investment in the past, a full sale is not on the cards at present. However, that didn't stop Errol Musk from revealing that Elon had his eye on events in the red half of Merseyside. In an interview with Times Radio, Errol said, "I can't comment on that. They'll raise the price." When pressed on whether Elon would want to buy Liverpool, he added, "Oh yes, but that doesn't mean he's buying it. He would like to, yes, obviously. Anybody would want to, so would I." Musk's Senar claimed the interest was partly there due to the family's connection to the city. He explained, "His grandmother was born in Liverpool, and we have relatives in Liverpool, and we were fortunate to know quite a lot of the Beatles because they grew up with some of my family. So we are attached to Liverpool, you know. However, that connection didn't extend to Elon's passion for football, as he grew up supporting bitter rivals United instead." Having joked in August 2022 that he was buying them from the Glazer family, he announced on Twitter, before he bought the social media platform and renamed it X, that the Red Devils were his club. He posted, "If it were any team, it would be Manchester United. They were my favourite team as a kid." Aside from his outspoken views on British politics and his association with US President-elect Donald Trump, a boyhood United fan buying Liverpool would be hugely controversial given the intense rivalry between the two biggest clubs in English football. Anyone crossing that divide would be viewed with deep skepticism. Only 12 players have done so in history, and there's been no business directly conducted between the two since 1964. Last May, Forbes rated Liverpool the fourth most valuable club in the world, with an estimated value of £4.3 billion. That amounts to just over 1% of Musk's total net worth, which is believed to be around £343 billion. FSG has occasionally been criticised by a section of the fan base for their perceived lack of investment in the squad. However, there are few complaints at present, with the Reds riding high at the top of the Premier League and the Champions League. Hey Liverpool fans, welcome back again. Here we go. Liverpool remain 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League after draws for them and their rivals, but questions are being asked about their January transfer plans. Arneslot oversaw a quiet summer window, with Federicochiesa joining from Juventus and Jeremiafrimpong set to link up with the squad after the 2024-25 season. Chiesa has been linked with a January departure after struggling for game time, but Liverpool appear in no hurry to let him leave. There's also the question of whether Slot needs to add to his ranks. Speaking after the Sunday afternoon draw with Manchester United, Jamie Carragher claimed a new left-back should be a priority for the title chasers. "I just think Andy Robertson, who is an absolute legend, is just hanging on in every game," Carragher told Sky Sports. "I don't think Kostas Tsimikas is quite of the standard to come in and replace him. I think if Liverpool could get a left-back in January, I think that'd put Liverpool in a really strong position to win the league." Robertson has played more than 300 games for Liverpool since joining from Hull in 2017, winning the Champions League in 2019 and Premier League in 2020. This season, though, the cracks have started to show. A red card against Fulham played its part in dropped points for Slot's team, while Robertson has been found wanting on other occasions. At the age of 30, some will feel he has reached the point where it's time to look at potential long-term replacements, especially if Tsimikas isn't considered up to the task. Bournemouth defender Kerkez is a number of fans' first choice, and it's easy to see why. The 21-year-old has room to grow as a player, but already has Premier League experience under his belt and has shown quality at both ends of the field. He's also already well known to Slot from his time in the Eredivisie. Hungary international Kerkez enjoyed a breakout season with AZ in 2022-23, helping the Alkmaar side reach the Conference League semi-finals, and played home and away against Slot's Feyenoord. Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes helped bring Kerkez to England when working for the Cherries, so he too has been aware of the defender's qualities for some time. With Bournemouth closing in on Argentine left-back Julio Soler, might they allow Kerkez to leave in January? Fulham star Robinson might sound like an off-brand version of Liverpool's left-back, but his name isn't the only similarity. The United States international gets up and down the pitch brilliantly, and demonstrated this against the Reds back in December, when he set up both Cottager's goals in a 2-2 draw. He also captained Marco Silva's side in that game, one of several occasions on which he has done so this term. His leadership has come along with an impressive end product, with no other defender able to match his 7 assists this term. At 27, former Everton youth star Robinson is older than some of the other names on this list. However, he has been ever present in the league this term in a position which requires energetic displays time after time. Wolves man Ait Nouri has been linked with Liverpool in the past, with his attacking contributions catching the eye. 3 goals and 5 assists this term is already his best return since moving to the Premier League, and he's only needed 18 appearances to reach that total. He was on target when Wolves met Liverpool earlier this season, popping up inside the 6-yard box to take advantage after some lax defending from Slot's team. However, with the Molineux side struggling for clean sheets in the early part of the season, some may wonder whether Ait Nouri would be capable of fulfilling the defensive responsibilities needed to succeed at Anfield. The Algeria international might not come cheap, given he is under contract until 2026, with Wolves holding a 1-year extension option. He would also likely be missing for a few games during the Africa Cup of Nations, though this is unlikely to be a make-or-break factor. Liverpool may decide they need cover on both flanks, with Trent Alexander-Arnold potentially on his way to Real Madrid. If that proves to be the case, Nottingham Forest defender Aina could be the solution. Interestingly, Aina was brought in by Hull in the summer they lost Robertson to Liverpool. The defender predominantly played at right back after joining on loan from Chelsea, where he started his career but also played a number of games down the left.